And so what I asked was, how does rehabbing that bathroom and that kitchen help you travel? At a $175,000 mortgage, put $50,000 on it, drops the balance down to $125, recast the mortgage at $125 down to about $1,000. So what does that mean? We just picked up $800 in cash flow and we didn't have to deal with tenants, toilets, and trash. Using or leveraging our current home to be able to accomplish and achieve the exact same goal. So the first option was, okay, we've got this $100,000 HELOC already in place. The objective is to take half of that $50,000 and go rehab your kitchen, rehab the bathroom. My first question was just simply why? And I know this is it, like there's an obvious answer here, but I have to ask, what is the point? What is the purpose? What is accomplished? Who wins? Matter of fact, if wealth and income is your objective, if your goal, what he stated was, hey, me and my wife want to travel. We don't want to work for the rest of our life. And so what I asked was, how does rehabbing that bathroom and that kitchen help you travel? Like, how does it help you get to your goal? And it didn't take much, but in asking those questions, because what I was getting at was, is that $50,000 better served somewhere else? And he goes, what do you mean? Well, if the objective is to pay down the home, if the objective is to put the home in a better place so that you can leverage the money that's in it, then why not put the home in a better place so you can leverage what's in it? Meaning, why not create more space, create more cash flow, and still be able to accomplish your goal of rehabbing the kitchen if you want? And then in addition, I get it. The Burr method, buying properties. How much is that property again? What is it? What is it going to yield you in return when you buy that property and you put that renter in it and they're paying whatever that monthly amount is, $899 a month? Okay, maybe there's an opportunity to achieve that $899 out of your own home. How is that even possible?
Well, for some people, this could even be that they got a mortgage on that house. They didn't pay it off. So $899 is what they profit after they've paid their mortgage, right? So it's not even, but it's about average, honestly. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so the thought process was, okay, we take this $100,000 HELOC and we still split it. But what if we take $50,000 of it and dump it right into the mortgage? And if you remember the numbers were, he's got a $175,000 mortgage. The mortgage payment on that home is about $1,816. So if we just simply take $50,000 from this HELOC and immediately just simply dump it right into the principal of the home. So if you dump that $50,000 onto the principal of the home, that changes that $175,000 down to $125. What's accomplished if you do that? Well, to kind of talk through that, I want to jump over here. To understand what that would look like, we have to look at the mortgage calculator. And I was playing with this earlier. So the original purchase for the home was 306. And again, 306 for 30 years at 3.25%. And again, I knew his mortgage payment was 1816. So what I did was I manipulated this because I didn't know what his taxes and insurance were. But I just had to put whatever numbers were to allow me to get to that 1816 on a monthly basis in which he's paying on his mortgage. And so in looking at the amortization schedule, the other part that I knew was he's in year 16 of his mortgage. So as I come down to the amortization schedule and we go to year 16, notice he owes 175,000. So we are pretty much right where we should be on the amortization schedule. So he's sitting at year 16 of the amortization schedule. He's got a $306,000 home that he's been paying on. He currently owes 175. So the thought process is this. What if we take that $50,000, dump it onto the balance of the home, which means that $175,000 that he owes ends up looking more like $125. So again, if he was sitting here and we dump $50,000 onto the home, it puts him here in the amortization schedule. So it moves him down a few months. Okay. Or a few years rather. So if that's the case, then what would it look like if we were to replace that 306 with the 125, recast this mortgage at not 30 years, but we want to leave it at the year 16 where his current mortgage is currently sitting at 16. What does that look like? So if we recalculate the mortgage, it ends up being roughly $1,000, 1033. So in essence, if we had a $175,000 mortgage, put 50,000 on it, drops the balance down to 125, recast the mortgage at 125, it would drop that mortgage payment from 1816 down to about $1,000. So what does that mean? We just picked up $800 in cash flow and we didn't have to deal with tenants, toilets, and trash. We just accomplished the exact same goal using or leveraging our current home to be able to accomplish and achieve the exact same goal. Let's work. So that was the first step. The first step was, okay, if we put ourselves in a position to where we can recast this mortgage and we pick up about $800 in cash flow, meaning the new mortgage payment is $1,000, which means we picked up about 16 in cash flow. So what do we do with it? Then we come over here and we take that second $50,000 and we dump it into a secure compound interest account. So what does that look like? So again, 42 years of age. And the reason I'm using 42 to 52 is in most cases, the draw on a line of credit is 10 years. So my challenge to him was, okay, how many homes can you pick up within that 10-year period for that $50,000 HELOC compared to what can that same $50,000 do inside of a secure compound interest account during that same 10-year period? Let's compare the two. Again, if it takes, what was that number? 5.9 years to be able to pay off a home using that 866 from the rental property, how many properties could you pick up within that 10-year span? And if he didn't want a mortgage, it would be a challenge. But he could actually pick up a fair amount, a large number of these properties if he had a mortgage on each of them. But now you're kind of over leveraging yourself. So it just really depends on what your goal is and what actions you want to take. Because again, the Burr method does work. But in my case, what I referenced was, okay, what I want to do, since your cash flow is $1,800, how about we take 500 of that and put it into a secure compound interest account, and then we get that other 50,000 working for you. 52 to age 42, $50,000 in a secure compound interest account plus 500 of your cash flow. What does that look like? What that says is over that 10-year period, he would have, if he wanted, $20,000 in tax-free income. But this is the number that I was more concerned with. Over that 10-year period, he would have liquid cash of around $180,000. Meaning he started with 50, that 10 years and in 10 years, that $500 ultimately turned into about $180,000 of liquidity. How many properties would he need to have the same? And when I say liquid, I mean accessible by debit card. Not sitting under a mortgage, but accessible by debit card. How many properties would he have to have in order to achieve that dollar amount? So ultimately that's kind of where we're sitting. We're sitting at, we picked up $816 in cash flow. The reason I used $500, because again, that's sort of a random number. What I did was I said, okay, if I take $500 out of this number, leaves me with about $1,300. And I've got the $1,300 left over plus the $816. If I combine these two dollar amounts, how long would it take for me to pay off that HELOC? Meaning using how often or how long would it take for that $1,800, $1,816, whatever that dollar amount is, $1,816 in cash flow times 12, which is approximately $21,792. So how long would it take for me to pay off that $50,000? Well, $50,000 divided by approximately 22 grand is about 2 years and 2 months. So in essence, within a 10-year period, not only do I have a vehicle that gave me $180,000, I have that $50,000 free and clear or 2 years and a month, actually. So what else could be done with that home equity line of credit, whether it's in this vehicle, whether it's to rehab the kitchen and the bathroom? Like, you have many options available to you. Why? Because you put this money to work, because you got this money working for you. And where are the tenants, toilets, and trash? There aren't any. So that was option one. Then we slid over and I said, well, there's one other option that I'll put in front of you. The second option was, what if we simply take that $100,000 and put it all to work? What would happen? What would happen if we do that? And yeah, I'm going to still take the take $500 a month out of my cash flow and get that compounding as well. So what would that look like inside of a secure compound interest vehicle if I did that? Again, looking at the same 10 years. So I'm going to take all 100,000 and that same $500 a month, and I'm going to put it to work. So how about $32,000 in tax-free income? And again, same 10-year period. I've got $273,000 in liquidity, it's $273,000 in cash value, and about $32,500 in income that I'm able to take in a 10-year span. Again, no tenants, no toilets, no trash. And as it relates to the HELOC, so I didn't recast the mortgage, so the mortgage payment is still the same, and I have a HELOC payment. So how long would it take for my cash flow of $1,300, because I used $500 of my cash flow and put it to work? So if I have $1,300 in cash flow, how long does it take for that $1,300 to pay off the $100,000? So $1,300 times 12 is 15.6. So how many 15.6s would it take to pay off $100,000? So $100,000 divided by 15.6, we're talking 6.4 years. So again, HELOC, 10-year draw. If we do this right, just using our cash flow, using velocity banking to pay off the line of credit. And from a velocity banking perspective, what do I mean? I'm saying all of the income goes onto the HELOC, and once all income goes onto the HELOC, I'm going to use the cash flow that's left over to bring this balance down. And in doing so, it would take me about 7 years to pay it back. Well, what do I do at the end of that 7 years? Again, throughout this period, I could have been rehabbing my kitchen and my bathroom and still using the cash flow to pay it down. So meaning when I got enough room in the HELOC, then go ahead and rehab the kitchen. It may take 2.5, 3 years, maybe. At that 2.5, 3 year mark, rehab the kitchen and bathroom, the balance goes back up, and I continue velocity banking. I still get it done within the 10-year period. But look at the vehicle that I created in the process. I've got an asset with cash value of about 272,000. I have a death benefit initially of about 1.6 million, but God forbid something happened to me at that 10-year mark. I'm passing on $2.5 million to my beneficiaries. When you talk to Nick's perspective on this was, well, the whole purpose for this Burr method, these properties was, hey, I'm creating a legacy to be able to leave to my kids. Well, how many properties would it take to leave a legacy of 2.5 million?
No, and do your kids want to deal with all that, or would they just be liquidating those properties? Because that's,
That part.
yeah.
That part.